Mm-hmm. Howdy, this is Sailor the Piper, man. Piper the Sailor, man. With my Stanwell, 60-year-old Stanwell. And some Irish flake. And, I went to the dentist yesterday. Getting some old fillings replaced. You know, you gotta replace old fillings, especially if you're gonna smoke pipe. Have your dental always checked. Look at this bad boy. It's that beautiful Stanwell, made in the 1950s or early 60s. Got my tree behind me. I want to wish everybody a good Thanksgiving. Don't eat too much, like me. My wife is putting up joint. Got candles going. She's getting into. Well, she's little by little. We'll start adding. You'll see it. We'll start adding. My next door neighbor just started. You know, get the people out of their depression. I'm doing good. I went to the VA hospital. My blood work was fine. Urinalysis. Now December the 17th, I got a radiograph on my lungs. Should be fine. I haven't coughed. I don't inhale. No. Beautiful. Grecian Plateau. I love Stanwells. Good pipe, sturdy. And, tomorrow's gonna be nice. My wife told me, honey, can you cut the turkey? I had told her, you're gonna have to cut that turkey. It's not gonna fit in the oven. She's like, oh, it's gonna fit. My oven is big enough. But it wasn't. Turkey's humongous. So, my aunt used to be a butcher. And she taught me how to cut meat. So my wife had never seen me do it. She's always done the turkey. She said, please, can you cut the turkey so I can... So I took a small knife. It wasn't really big. Actually, it was a dagger. And she saw me cut it, open up the chest, put it apart, get the drumsticks, get this. And she was like, my God, you did that so quick. I turned around and looked at her. Can you imagine if I was a mass murderer? Why do you thought that? I said, because I was watching this film the other day. You know, I can't watch horror films anymore. I used to love them when I was a kid. There was a program called Chiller Theater I used to watch, and Boris Karloff. It's horror, you know. You had Frankenstein, you had Dracula, Bela Lugosi, black and white. Then you had one of my all-time favorite, Abbott and Costello's meets Dracula and Frankenstein. Still, I must have watched that I don't know how many times. And those two just cracked me up in one place straight. And there's another film that Abbott Costello made where he goes inside the bullfighting ring. They're in Mexico. I don't remember. It's been years since I've seen it. But he's in the bull he's in the bull ring in Mexico. I think it's in Tijuana. He falls in love with this beautiful senorita, so he's in there. He has to run around and escape the bulls. So much is funny, man. Also, like Lauren Hardy, there's one I think in black and white. It's the small segment where they're delivering a piano up these steps in California, and they lose control of the piano. The piano keeps coming down. Lauren Hardy, man. You know, traditionally, my kids aren't here. So they asked me, Danny, my son calls me from Connecticut. Dad, you gonna watch March of the Wooden Soldiers by Lauren Hardy? So I drove the kids crazy with that when they were young. Every Thanksgiving we had to watch March of the Wooden Soldiers. And they hated it, you know. They hated that movie. I don't know why. They found it cheesy, I guess. And well, now they're on their own. They have their own families. So he says, March of the Wooden Soldiers and Thanksgiving are synonymous. It's important you leave people memories. One of my sons always remembers the time I took him to Yankee Stadiums. It was cold. It was like April and it was a cold winter. It was raining. I had season tickets. Second tier behind home plate. It was cold, it was windy. So I took my oldest son. And at the time I didn't have much money. I was unemployed between gigs, and so I had like 30 bucks. You know? What are you gonna do with 30 bucks these days? So my son was like, gee, Dad, I want some hot cocoa. I said, I'll tell you what. We can get hot cocoa or a hot dog, hot cocoa and peanuts. He goes, well, Dad, you love peanuts. So what ended up happening was we bought the hot cocoa, we bought the peanuts. So there was a guy sitting next to me, and he looked like he was waiting for somebody, a friend or whatever. And I'm looking at him, he's looking around, and he's got binoculars, and I'm finding him really weird. He turns around, he had ordered beer for him and his friends. They didn't come. He had 2 beers. And he's sitting there, and he goes, look, man, I came here to be with somebody, the person ain't here. I don't want these beers to go to waste. You don't mind drinking them for me? Enjoy yourself. I went, what? I said, thank you. Put it right next to me. In the blue seats, 2 beers. Had crushed ice in it. I had much money. And so I'm sitting there, and as I went by, it was like 12 ounces. And my son is happy, and I'm happy, and the Yankees win. It was a great game. It was Ricky Henderson was still playing with the Yankees. He stole a couple of bases, and he stole home. It was great. I had my beers, my son. I had enough money to get home. And to this day, I was broke. Yet The amount of money I had season tickets before I became unemployed, but that really made him, you know. Like sometimes little things that you do stay with people a long time, and he enjoyed it. He said, "Man, that was the best hot cocoa I ever had," and I'm like, "Not for nothing. That was the best beer I had," and peanuts to this day. So when baseball season begins, that's the first thing that comes on his mind and come on my mind. He goes, "Dad, you left a wonderful memory." And for my wife is we were at the stadium for the Macarena when we broke the record at Yankee Stadium. Dancing, she'll never forget that. So you know, you never know memories. You know, sometimes you have pipe memories. I remember my first Great Bull pipe. I went to a pharmacy. I wasn't even thinking of buying a pipe, and I saw it. It was really nice billiard, and I love billiards. Love billiards. I don't care who makes it. I just love the way they look. And so it was $7, and he said, "You don't want that." Oh, why not? Yeah, first of all, you're underage. Someone got my cousin. My cousin bought it for me. Gave it to me at 15. And I bought my first pack of cherry blend Middleton. Oh my lord, I can't believe I started out with cherry blend Middletons. I don't think it's no longer around, but I spent a couple of months smoking that till I finally moved on and began. I saw a commercial, Bork and Riff commercial. The guy's a sailor, he's out at the sea. And at the time, I had made the decision I want to be a sailor. So I visually saw myself in the same situation out at sea, smoking the pipe and smoking a bag of Bork and Riffs. You know what what the things as a young man you end up really doing later on in life. Like I wanted to go to Australia, I wanted to go to South Sea Islands. I fell in love with the world the world of Susie Wan. I wanted to go to Hong Kong, and I wanted an Asian chick. You know, that's the dream. You know, going out dating a Tahitian or Philippine babe, and I went ahead and when I got there, you know, they drove me around on a trike, and the trike guy was like, "Ah, you want a woman? You station Dito." And I was like, "Yeah, yeah, whatever. Let me introduce you to my sister." No, I had no idea his sister was a prostitute. But she was out of work, and for some reason she wasn't working in the club, so she was home. So you date my sister? And they lived in a shack, man. I couldn't believe it. The conditions they left. So I felt so bad after I met her father, was old man, World War II veterans, and I knew the history, how the Filipinos suffered, you know. So we became friends, and he told me war stories. He was a pipe smoker too. They have tobacco growing in the Philippines. I don't know if you know that tobacco. They grow a lot of burley tobacco. I don't know the name of it, but it grows in the wild. They obviously didn't he knew where to get it. They smoking it. And I decided I'm gonna help him build that house. So I must have spent about $1,000. And those guys are really good. Did one side, the interior, we put up the post, we did the back. Just basically took it apart, took the aluminum sidings, the old cement out, and built a nice wooden home for them. Added a section to it. I bought a huge tank running water. The stove. They had a public shower. They all took a shower together for the most part. So I dated her. She was really nice and everything. But you moved on. As a sailor, you move on. You can't have nothing permanent. She was really beautiful. All black hair. We looked like Susie Wan, too. So, as a medic, I volunteered to go to this leprosy colony on one of the islands where they had what's called negritos, these really dark-skinned, Aborigine-looking Filipinos, not Spanish Filipinos. And I got along with them, and they were smoking pipe out there, these log tube, more like Native American pipe. They were smoking tobacco too. People around the world, everywhere I went was smoking tobacco. Not necessarily American, Filipinos got great beer, San Miguel beer, great cigars. So I went to Thailand. All them pagodas, man. I just visit all the pagodas anywhere. I think I was on those canoes more than on sea, and back then there were a lot of warlords. You know? You ever see everywhere I went, I saw a different pipe, different tobacco, real tobacco, not processed, additive, or anything like that. So it leaves me with memories. And tomorrow I have a memory. I'll be with my wife and my daughter's coming over. And we're just gonna have a nice Thanksgiving. We're gonna come out, smoke, watch a little football, and just take it easy. One of the traditions in my home is we prepare a plate, put food in it, and put it aside for a stranger that might come. That's been in my family for I don't know how long. I never asked my grandmother why she did that. Well, that's it. Just some random thoughts. Say to the Piper Man, Piper the Sailor saying, have a great Thanksgiving. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. Da 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 da. You have a good one.